rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. Don't forget about the environment when making New Year's resolutions. This year, resolve to recycle more. Recycle paper, bottles, and cans. Reuse paper and plastic bags, and get a reusable bag for groceries. Recycle old clothes by donating them to charity. And recycle old electronics like TVs, computers, and cell phones at appropriate e-waste facilities. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing? Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. Now that we have started a new year, think about ways you can help the environment. First, make the switch to green soaps and personal products, and green cleaning products for the sink and shower. Use towels made from materials like organic cotton. And finally, make the switch to LED lights, which can last for many years and use very little power. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
95.7 The Game is an equal opportunity employer, and we encourage local community organizations to refer qualified applicants to us. You can receive The Game and Odyssey job vacancy information by contacting Human Resources at 415-765-4011 or by emailing sfhr@odyssey.com.
Good morning, Area! It's time to wake up. It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the Pregame Show. Joe Spadoni on this Tuesday morning. If you're just getting off work, if you're just getting ready for work, if you're getting ready for school, if you're getting ready for a long commute, if you're getting ready to travel, whatever. Maybe you're just an early morning person, you just got ready for a run, you're going on a run. Welcome in. Thank you for joining me. If you're listening on the Odyssey app, favorite 95.7 The Game, we appreciate you. If you're listening on YouTube, we appreciate you. Hello, 888-957-9570. 888-957-9570 is the number if you would like to get involved. The Xfinity mobile text line, the Bud Light guest line. All guests appear on the Bud Light guest line. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. A lot of ways to get involved right here on the Pregame Show. Joe Spadoni. We got a lot to get into and not a lot of time to do it, so let's get started. We know our opponent, 49ers fans, it is the Philadelphia Eagles this Sunday, 12 o'clock. Be there, be square. 49ers will be in Philadelphia. And, man, these were the two best teams all year. And this is why it matters. This is why you lift all them weights, right? This is it. Michael Jackson, as Guru likes to say. This is the matchup. We've been watching them all season long. If you're in fantasy, if you're casual, you've seen these two teams dominate. It was the Eagles in the start and the 49ers in the second half. And I don't want to take away anything from the Eagles and what they did in the second half, but Hurts was compromised the last few games. The 49ers haven't lost since getting destroyed against the Kansas City Chiefs. Ever since Christian McCaffrey's been a starter, the 49ers have won. Brock Purdy, he's undefeated. 7-0 now. The Eagles, they were the best team up until Jalen Hurts got hurt. But seemed healthy last week. Looks like his legs are there. His arm strength is there. That offense is there. But the 49ers defense is playing better than anyone in the league. They're a 2.5-point dog last time I checked on the road. Okay. Like we discussed yesterday, you get 3 points for being at home. So 2.5, if this was a neutral site game, Niners would be favored. If this is the Super Bowl, Niners would be favored. It's not the Super Bowl, it's the NFC Championship. And Brock Purdy will be having to deal with the most raucous environment he has ever been a part of in his sports career. Miss me with college, miss me with Iowa State versus Iowa, whatever, rivalry, Baylor, what have you. No. This is going to be the craziest crowd that he has been a part of. I'm expecting the Niner fans to show out like they've done all year. Maybe not to the extent as some other places, Vegas, because Philadelphia actually has homegrown fans there and a huge fan base and a brand. So this is it. This is it for Brock Purdy and his chance to cement himself into the greatest sports story of all time. 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. If you would like to get involved, Xfinity Mobile text line, YouTube chat. This is the biggest start of Brock Purdy's career. And he's going up against a team, a squad, that was a defense that was 2 sacks shy of the single season team total record. It was the 84-85 Bears. Had 72. The Monsters of the Midway. Singletary. Right? Think of all the people on that team. That squad. The Eagles were too shy of getting that sack. And I know they have an extra game this year, and you're going to be seeing records broken. But I think it's more credit to that they were that close. And just being even in the same conversation as the greatest defense is what is considered the greatest defense of all time in the 85 Bears. The Eagles are right up there in the sack total. So they're going to be getting after Brock Purdy. They went all in on that defensive line. You just looking at some of these guys in the name. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, Linval Joseph, and Ndamukong Suh. Jordan Davis, the rookie out of Georgia. Josh Sweat. Robert Quinn. Those guys are legit. Hassan Reddick. Gardner Johnson. Darius Slay. Now, the linebacking core is getting a little older. Little young in the, or not young in the tooth, but old in the tooth. They're not the best. And that is an area where I believe the 49ers can expose them. That's what Kyle Shanahan does best. If you do not have quick linebackers, he will find the mismatch with Christian McCaffrey and he will exploit you. Whether it's dinking and dunking, throwing out in the flat, what have you. Quick slants. Shanahan, I trust. So this is going to be a hell of a matchup, and I want to know from you at 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570, the specific matchup that you're circling. And we have all week to do this, so we're going to. We're going to break it down in segments. But just your initial thoughts in the matchup. Because when I looked at this matchup, and I knew that the 49ers would be playing the Eagles, we all knew it, I felt pretty confident anyways. All due respect to the Cowboys. And Dak Prescott's having a hard time right now, I'm sure. He's getting crushed on every single major media outlet. And we'll hear from one of the guys that crushed him yesterday on our station, Michael Irvin, who joined Damon and Ratto every week. He had some thoughts on Dak Prescott, we'll say the least. So we'll get into some of that sound. Kyle Shanahan talked to the media on his weekly conference call, so we'll hear some of that sound. By the way, Brian Baldinger joining the morning roast at 7:30, Baldy's breakdown, so you're not going to want to miss that one. Baldy, you know him, you love him. 95.7 The Game NFL insider, former NFL offensive lineman, center, NFL Network, all that. Baldy's the best. The breakdowns. We're starting to get live breakdowns, like right when they happen, 2 to 3 minutes. That's when you know postseason's here. And the Super Bowl's coming when you got Baldy just chilling at his house and just going play by play during the game. He's doing breakdowns of Mahomes' taped ankle job on the sidelines. He has to do the rewind. He's like, look at how they tape this. Look at how they do that. Give myself a 2 for the Baldy expression, but I digress. The matchup I'm most intrigued by is that D-line of the Philadelphia Eagles and whether or not they could get home against Brock Purdy. Because Brock Purdy is going to have a tough time against that secondary. It's one of the best in the league, the Eagles. And it's going to be up to Kyle Shanahan to guide his young rookie. Is that going to be running the ball, establishing that? Because we saw in the earliest, 3 quarters of that game against Dallas, they could not establish that running game. And it was a problem. Now, I said it yesterday, and I do not believe this Philadelphia Eagles is as good as that Dallas Cowboys defense. That defense from the Eagles is not nearly as good as the Dallas Cowboys defense. I think a lot of people are gassing them up like they are. I don't think so. I think Micah Parsons is a generational talent. And all due respect to Fletcher Cox, who's getting a little older now, who's probably a Hall of Famer. Josh Sweat, Hargrave, all those guys, they're really good players. Very good. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, those are the guys, the last two from that Super Bowl team. Getting a little older. And the 49ers, what they have on offense is youthful exuberance. Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel. George Kittle's the old man on the team. Brock Purdy. And George is what, 30, if that? 29. Same age as me. He's turning 30 this year. Happy early birthday, George. So that's the mismatch. Can they exploit that older linebacking core, the middle of the field, and can they establish the running game? Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell. You can't do what you did last week against the Cowboys. If you do that and you get Brock in third and long passing situations, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a very long day. These guys are used to practicing against Jalen Hurts, so they know mobile quarterbacks. They were in the NFC Beast this year. They dominated that division. So they know. Daniel Jones dealt with him, running guy last week. Hell, Daniel Jones had, the most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback this year? Something like that. He was unbelievable in fantasy. I know that. They contained him, and I know Spadoni, you're going to say that's a divisional matchup. It's different. Okay, but it'll prime you for a guy like Brock Purdy, who's slippery like Daniel Jones. Not as big, but he's a little slippery, maybe a little more quicker. Going up against Jalen Hurts every day. Guy's smaller, thicker, probably faster, and has a better arm. Not a huge arm, but a better arm. So that's the update I'm looking at. 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. Update on the CMC injury from the 415. Not that I know of. They said that looks like he's going to be fine to play next week. That's all the reports that I saw, was that they're not worried about it and that he should be available next week for the NFC Championship. Here is Kyle Shanahan talking about it, the 50-50 split between the run and the pass, and if that is what he is looking for every single week.
I mean, we always try to do that just because we don't like anyone to tee off in any direction. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily the style of the game that I want. It's just we feel we got to adapt to the style that we think you need to play to win whatever that given game is or that given moment that week. And the better defensive lines you go against, the better defenses you go against. That style usually leads to slowing guys down and not allowing other teams to play at what they want to do. It also gives you a much higher percentage of winning the turnover battle too. So I think you need to be able to win games that way in the playoffs a lot, but not always do you have to. I mean, we saw it a different way in our first week for Seattle, and we'll work all week to see how we see it this week too.
It's whatever the matchup's going to dictate, to Kyle Shanahan's point. So if they take away the run, hey, you have the weapons, right? Some of these teams, they do not have the plethora of weapons that you have at your disposal if you're Kyle Shanahan. They just don't. This is probably the most well-balanced and deep offensive unit in the NFL. You can just look at the names that we ran off. Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Kyle Juszczyk, fullback, toss him in there. Juwan Jennings as a third wide receiver, he's clutch. Then you look at the offensive line, Trent Williams, Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer. And the rest of them has been serviceable. Now, I'll say this for Mike McGlinchey, who got tossed with one hand by Micah Parsons. Can't be doing that this week again. And I know I said it earlier, Micah Parsons is a generational talent and that no one on this Philadelphia Eagles squad is as good as him, but they have depth. Absolute depth. Linval Joseph, Fletcher Cox, Chasky was talking about it yesterday. They have interior pressure that can make things difficult and has made things difficult for Shanahan offenses in the past. Now, that was with Jimmy Garoppolo. Brock Purdy, let's see. The interior pass rush is different. Chris Jones, you remember that fourth quarter against Kansas City in the Super Bowl? I know we want to forget, but that ended up being the difference. That interior pressure. And then, if you're the Eagles, it's about keeping Brock Purdy contained. Can they do that? From Richard Kwong on the YouTube chat. Shan may have to roll Brock out to avoid the rush. CMC can do an option pass to confuse the Eagles. Jordan Mason can do damage running up the middle. Not sure they're doing read option with CMC. But to your point, getting Brock comfortable. And what the Cowboys were doing last week, they were forcing Brock, and Greg Olson was on the Fox broadcast talking about it, former tight end. He was saying Dan Quinn was forcing him to roll to his left, making him more and more uncomfortable. And you saw, you get nervous. I get a little nervous when he starts to roll left, and he sets his feet. It's like, ugh. And he's throwing it back across his body. He got away with it, with Kittle making a fantastic catch, and the catch of the game, and the play of the game probably, on offense. But, you just get nervous. Because he doesn't have the biggest arm. He's not like the Mahomes and the Allens, right? The Rodgers, when they're allowed to roll to the opposite side and torque that body, and that upper arm strength is just there, and they could live off that. He's got to plant his feet. He's got to set. He can't be doing loosey-goosey because he will get picked off, especially against these quarters. This secondary is opportunistic, and they will capitalize, unlike Trevon Diggs last week. You can bank that. Trevon Diggs, that dropped pick that he had, that was the game. If you're a Cowboys fan, you're looking back at that like, ugh, if we just had that could have changed everything. But it didn't. Brock Purdy, say what you will, rookie luck, whatever. It's better to be lucky than good. He's been lucky in some of these situations. He's gotten picked sometimes, sure. And some of them have just been flat out drops. Is that luck going to continue? It might. But just don't put yourself in that situation again. And it's hard, again, to ask a rookie to do that. He's going to make mistakes. Things happen. It's up to Kyle Shanahan to put him in the best situation possible. Can he do that this week against Philadelphia? That's the question. So 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. The one matchup you're circling right now heading into this NFC Championship game in Philadelphia this Sunday at Lincoln Financial Field. Right now I'm circling that defensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles against that Niners O-line. That's the big matchup to me. Can the Niners run that ball consistently against the Eagles like they weren't able to do last week against the Cowboys? Not until late. And it's better late than never. We understand that. And it was great that your defense held their end of the bargain. I don't know if that defense could hold this Eagles offense to that low scoring. 12 points. What's the over-under this game? 46.5, I want to say. Let me look this up real quick. But I have a feeling this is going to be more of what I thought the Dallas game would have been. I think this is going to be more of like a 28-24 kind of game. So I would take the over. That's absolutely in the over. I'm saying the high 40s, right? 45.5. And the Eagles still favored by 2.5. So the over-under is 45.5. I would take the over here. I think there's going to be scoring on both sides. It's going to be balanced on both sides. Or hell, it might be a body bag game, as Bonta Hill likes to say. Shout out Cobra Kai. Final season just got announced, by the way. Netflix, 6th and final season. I'm sad but happy. They kind of had to wrap that show up. It was kind of getting to the point where, like, what villains do we have left now? Are we going to start bringing in, like, the Hilary Swank Karate Kid? It's like, once I get past Machio, I'm kind of out. So shout out Cobra Kai. Let me know if you're a fan of Cobra Kai, 888-957-9570. I dressed up as in a Cobra Kai gi, which is the uniform or outfit you wear in karate. Wore that to Comic-Con a couple years ago. And if you've never been to Comic-Con, highly recommend it for all the nerds out there. Or even if you're not a nerd, it is quite an experience down in San Diego. And just being down in San Diego and nerding out, it's probably one of the coolest things I've ever done. A lot of people, I'll say that. An awful lot of people. And probably don't go if you have kids, unless they're old enough to also dress up with you and the fam. It was a lot of walking, so be used to that and stay hydrated. Also, a lot of stinky people, as you would imagine, at that kind of convention. But I digress. 408, Xfinity Mobile text line. I think the Eagles are going to, they're going to curb stomp the 49ers? Whoa! Really? I don't see that happening. The 49ers defense will not allow that to happen. Could there be a day where, the Chiefs come in and Patrick Mahomes is just Patrick Mahomes? Sure. I'm not ready to put Jalen Hurts there yet. I have to see it still. I still have to see it. I know that they smoked the Giants last week. It was a divisional game, and we were talking about it last Friday. I think we're giving the Giants too much credit after that shellacking they did against the Minnesota Vikings. And the Minnesota Vikings have the worst defense in the league. So I understand that you might be concerned watching last week and what the Eagles did to dismantle the New York Giants. But I'm here to tell you, this Eagles team can be beaten. And this 49ers team is well equipped to do so. Don't get it twisted. That Chiefs loss, yeah, it was bad. It was probably the best team you faced all year outside of the Cowboys this past week. It was definitely the best offense you faced all year. And you got torched. It was a close game, third quarter, and then into the fourth, Patrick Mahomes did his thing. Now, Patrick Mahomes this week, we'll see. One leg. I was talking about Bonte Shasky in between. I was like, is Patrick Mahomes with one leg still a top 5 quarterback in the league? Or he might be a top 3 quarterback on one leg. What he's able to do against the Jaguars was just sickening. Ugh. I read in that stupid chant. Can't stand them. Hope Joe Burrow takes care of him this week. Joseph Correa on the YouTube chat. What's up, Joseph? Brotato. Diehard 49er fan, but I could see Philly D not letting the Niners score enough to win. Woke up not confident today, LOL. What's not confident? You can't let me be more confident than you. Is no one giving the 49ers a chance this week? Is that what I'm hearing? 49er fan? 49er faithful? You're not giving your own team a chance? It's a hell of a win you just had at home. Why is it? Is it the environment? Is it just the team, the Eagles, because they've been the most consistent all year? Is it Jalen Hurts? Let me know why you're not confident. 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. Joseph says everyone's hyping up the Eagles, man. That's why he's scared. Don't buy some of the hype. They're a really good team. But don't act like the 49ers don't belong on the same field with them. The Giants didn't belong on the same field with them last week. The Niners, far superior to the New York Giants. Far superior. And maybe we were all gassing up the Giants last week because it was just wishful thinking that we wanted the Niners to host the NFC Championship game against an inferior opponent, because I have a feeling the 49ers would have done exactly what the Eagles did to the Giants last week. But the 49ers defense can absolutely hang with Jalen Hurts. Now, have they struggled in the past with mobile quarterbacks? Absolutely. A.J. Brown, have they struggled against him? See Tennessee last year against them, Jimmy Garoppolo. We know what happened there. So A.J. Brown, what was it? He had like 10 receptions for like $150, something ridiculous. He's a beast. Devontae Smith, he's a beast. He's a Heisman. So, yes, they do have dudes. Miles Sanders, Dallas Goedert, all these guys. They're legit. I'm not here to say they're not. Quez Watkins, Jason Kelsey. I can go on. But they can be beaten. They absolutely can be beaten. And I don't want any of this scared energy on a Tuesday. You can get scared on Friday because that's getting closer to the game. Not on Tuesday, Joseph. Come on. Can't be scared. 510, Stephen from Hercules, Xfinity Mobile text line. First playoff hostile environment for Purdy. I think his rookie colors might show. Okay. It's definitely going to be the craziest environment he's ever played in his, not even professional, just his career. Like, this is going to be the most nerve-wracking. This is going to be the most hard-hitting. This is going to be the most raucous environment. We know the reputation of Philly fans. We get all that. Booing Santa Claus, throwing batteries. I think if some of these players other than Brock aren't going to be too concerned, right? They've been to the frozen tundra that is Lambeau Field last year and won. Hell, if you're a fan traveling to this Philadelphia Eagles game, by the way, other than just instigating, you never want to instigate opposing fan bases. That's just dumb. That's just fan code 101. Don't talk major smack in an opposing arena, or you are liable to get smacked. That's just how it works. So, Just be safe out there, those traveling. But I was going to say, it's not going to be as scary as everyone thinks it is. All major arenas, major stadiums, major sports stadiums, and all fan bases have bad seeds. And all fan bases have good seeds, right? There's a mix of bad people. Anytime there's alcohol involved, there's going to be some fights, some bad words, some expletives, what have you. Birds flying, all that sort of stuff. Fly, Eagles, fly. But if you've ever been to a Raiders-Niners game at the Coliseum, I think you're going to be just fine if you're a Niners fan. Because that is the environment that is the craziest. That is scary energy. Hell, those two teams don't even play each other in the preseason anymore. Albeit they played last year, but prior to that, they had to stop. We all know the reasons why. We don't need to get into it. But if you're a seasoned fan, like I know a lot of you 49ers fans are, don't be scared of the Philadelphia Eagle fan base. You can be scared of the team, the players on it, but just know the 49ers are also just as stacked. And I'm taking Kyle Shanahan over Nick Sirianni if we're going head coaches. And Sirianni might win Coach of the Year, but Kyle Shanahan, listen, the job he's done, he absolutely should be up for the award as well. Brock Purdy, this story, if it keeps continuing, could go down as the greatest story in the history of the NFL. The history of the NFL. Imagine that, Brock Purdy. 831, shout out to 831. I'm a Pacific Grove native. Still got my 831 area code. Xfinity Mobile text line. People have to quit doubting the Niners because of the Vegas point spread. Niners will win by blowout. Oh, interesting. Now the Niners are going to win by a blowout. I don't see either of these teams getting blown out. I just don't see it. It's going to be close. If anything, the highest point differential throughout most of it, 10 points maybe in either direction. But I think it'll be close. And more often than not, it'll be a one-score game throughout. I think this is going to be very tight. I think both conference championship games are going to be very tight, to be honest with you. That Bengals-Chiefs one? Man. If Patrick Mahomes doesn't practice all week, and he is compromised, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, could the Bengals roll? No, I'm not letting that at Arrowhead. As much as I'd love to see it, I think the Chiefs' running game was what I was most impressed with last week. Isaiah Pacheco, he's so good. The 7th round rookie. And if the Chiefs have a running game that they could just establish throughout it, that makes them so much harder to beat. And Andy Reid is the one coach I'm still taking over Kyle Shanahan in these playoffs still. You got 3 guys that have been to the Super Bowl. Sirianni, the lone one out. Zach Taylor was in it last year. So these are the 4 best teams. We're going to say it all week. We're saying it today. Eagles, Niners, Chiefs, Bengals. What more could you want? We're going to take a quick break. Come on back. Continue to break down this matchup. Let me know. 888-957-9570. 888-957-9570. Xfinity Mobile text line. You guys are killing it. YouTube chat. Continue it. Love to see it. Be sure to download the Odyssey app. Favorite 95.7 The Game, or thousands of other stations and millions of podcasts that are free on the app. Sports talk, music, news, and podcasts are all available completely free. You can catch every Warriors game live on the app, by the way, along with all the music and news the Bay Area needs. Follow your favorite teams, stations, radio shows, and podcasts now by downloading this app, the free Odyssey app. The Warriors, they don't get back in action, by the way, until tomorrow at home. Chase Center taking on Where is Ja, who took another L last night, right? Kings, Grizz. I'm going to sleep so early now, so it's hard. 133-100. I knew it was a blowout, but my God. They scored 10 points in the 4th. So you best believe the Memphis Grizzlies will be hungry heading into Chase Center tomorrow. And again, we'll have all that coverage for you right here on 95.7 The Game. Taking a quick break. Come on back. This is the pregame show. Joe Spadoni. More Niners talk on the other side. 95.7 The Game.
They did one hell of a job. And the only thing else I got to say is, how about this, Joe?
The 49ers are back in the NFC Championship game.
Here's Pollard. Warner came right through and a big-time hit from the all-pro linebacker. Prescott fires. Oh, it's intercepted. The 49ers back to the championship game.
That was
was my type of football game. This was physical, cold weather, throwback football.
This is the Bay Area's sports station. 95.7 The Game.
If your resolutions include more energy, stamina, fire in the bedroom, or losing weight once and for all, listen up. Thousands of proactive patients have met or exceeded these goals with the caring team at Balanced Medical Solutions, the Bay Area's premier vitality clinic dedicated to helping all patients enjoy long, healthy lives full of energy, vigor, and sexual satisfaction. Until the end of the month, mention this station to get an evaluation with comprehensive labs, including hormone tests, for only $69. Call now, 510-679-3300, or visit balancedmedicalsolutions.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Every pro is an MVP to us. As a Lowe's MVP's Rewards member, you can earn bonus points when you shop select products and brands. Then redeem them for exciting rewards like tools, sports memorabilia, e-gift cards, and more. Join today to become a member and start earning. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any, subject to program terms. While supplies last. Points expire at end of calendar year. Visit Lowe's.com/MVP's bonus points for details.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
At Staples, you can count on every project being print perfect, guaranteed.
I need presentations and brochures printed, and they have to be perfect.
Your bounded presentations, brochures with the finest folds, and more will be done right every time. That's our Print Big promise. Now at Staples, get $10 off your document printing and marketing materials order of $50 or more, plus 20% back via store bonus. Try Staples and see the difference. Ends 2/25. Rewards members only. Bonus must be redeemed in store. See staples.com/stores/printbig for details.
Did you know you could be driving in a pile of cash, like right now? Bumper makes it easy to know what your car is worth. The used car market is hot right now. Bumper.com could be your opportunity to make some bank. Bumper.com lets you know what your car is worth based on your car's specific details. So whether you're selling or just want to know, Bumper makes it easy. Know what your car is worth. Just go to Bumper.com.
For buying and beyond, Bumper.com.
Bumper reports are based upon data available. Bumper may not have the complete historical records of every vehicle.
Shop limited time deals at the Truckload event at Lowe's, happening now. Save big on your favorites across the store. During this event, get up to 50% off select tools and accessories. Plus, find the perfect floor tile for your home for less. Get up to 50% off select styles while you can. Head to your local Lowe's store or visit Lowes.com to shop the Truckload event today. Valid 12/29 to 1/25 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowes.com for details. Discount taken at time of purchase.
Streaming only on Peacock. From the mind of Rian Johnson, the writer-director of Knives Out.
Miss Gale, you've got this gift. Always knowing the truth.
I only know if something is a lie. The real trick of it is to figure out why.
Natasha Lyonne is Charlie Cale.
It wasn't an accident. I think there's been a murder.
You watch too much Dateline.
A new 10-part mystery series.
Wolves on my fender. I gotta keep moving. I have been kind of a death magnet.
Poker Face, streaming January 26th, only on Peacock.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Pre-game show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. Bonte and Shasky are right around the corner of the morning roast in about T-minus 27 minutes. Shasky will join me next segment for a little cross-jover is what I'm calling it now. Cross-jover. We're both Joes. Shout out all of you. Shout out Joseph Correa on the YouTube chat. Always partial to the Joes out there. Joe Burrow still out there. I would take, and me and Shasky were talking about this, I would take Mount sports athletes named Joe over any other first name in sports history. I'm going DiMaggio, Burrow. Actually, no. Maybe Joe Frazier instead of Burrow. Burrow needs to win a Super Bowl. So we're going DiMaggio, Montana, Namath, Joe Frazier. I think that's it. That's the 4 right there. And Burrow maybe if he wins a Super Bowl or 2. But I'm taking Mount Joe Moore over any other first name. What's yours? At 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570, Xfinity mobile text line, YouTube chat. Hello. We're just talking about the matchup in the NFC Championship, which is this Sunday at 12 o'clock. And keep it locked and loaded right here on 95.7 The Game all week. And we'll lead you up to that game. But there's a lot of scared energy on the YouTube chat and on the text line when it comes to this Philadelphia Eagles squad. And Sam Lubman, producer extraordinaire of the Morning Roast and of Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys, who pitchers and catchers, Sam, coming up. Better get locked and loaded. But he had an interesting thought. We were just chatting about, he was getting the Zooms up in here for when they have crosstalk and stuff like that. When they have Brian Baldinger on at 7:30, you don't want to miss that on the Morning Roast. Catch him on YouTube. But he was saying, you know what? I think there's a good argument to be made that the 49ers are the 4th best team remaining. I was like, huh. That's interesting. I guess because you're just looking at the quarterback, and that's fine. Like, if you're just going by the best player on each team, and it has to be, by default, the quarterback, well, that's not the case for the 49ers. So then by default, then maybe they are the 4th team out of the 4. But again, that goes back to these being the 4 best teams in the NFL. So even if you're number 4, you're better than 28 other teams. Like, you're in the final 4. That's all that matters. And yes, the other guys, they have Burrow, Mahomes, and Hurts. I still need to see it from Jalen, though. I think we're putting this guy on a pedestal. And hell, he had a hell of a year. He was probably the MVP if he didn't get hurt towards the end there. Patrick Mahomes is going to win it, most likely. But Jalen Hurts was that dude. He was going to win it. Whether you look at the stats or not, narrative-based, yada, yada, yada. I thought he meant to the most to his team this season and was the best player top to bottom up until the injury. But I still need to see him prove it against this 49ers defense. He has not been challenged yet in the playoffs this season. Now, he only had one game, and it was against a Giants team that he kind of struggled against at the last game of the regular season, but there was never really any doubt in that game. They just turned it over in the red zone multiple times, and it was closer than I think it should have been. It wasn't really that close, but they went and handled that team, their division rival, last week. And I think a lot of Niners fans are looking at that performance like, oh my God, Jalen Hurts is healthy? I thought he wasn't. This changes everything. No. Play your game. Play containment. Force Jalen Hurts to throw the deep ball. Take away the short stuff. Have a spy on him. And I like your chances. Yes, you're going to have to make plays on the offensive end. Brock Purdy will have to make throws with his arm. He's going to have to make big plays. He's going to have to score with his arm. Because I expect the Philadelphia Eagles to load the box and force him to do so. They are going to try to take away CMC again. They are going to try to take away Elijah Mitchell. Hell, Jordan Mason, if you want to bring him in too. They're going to try to shut that running game down. And Kyle Shanahan, this is where his X's and O's are so good. Can you get around that? You call screens, bubble screens, quick slants, do all that. You got to let it all hang out here. This is the NFC Championship. Last game of the year, Brent. Well, not the last one. God, I love the water boy. It's one of my favorite scenes the whole time. Last game of the year, Brent. Can't hold anything back now. Xfinity Mobile text line, 415, his Mount first name more. He goes, Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson, Irving, Piazza. Okay. It's pretty good. I was doing if you just missed or just tuning in, the top 4 athletes that also share a first name with you. I was going Joe DiMaggio, Joe Montana, Joe Frazier, Joe Namath. It's a pretty good Joe list. Michael, that's up there. That's a good one. YouTube chat. Big Sneaky. I like that name. I like the Big Sneaky. Looking back at the Eagles season, they had a fairly easy schedule. Not convinced they are the real deal just yet. Okay. I mean, we could do that with the Niners too. We could do that with every team. The fact of the matter is you beat who's on your schedule. I think the Niners are supposed to have the hardest schedule heading into this, or one of the top ones, because they were playing the AFC West. And the AFC West, as we found out, wasn't even that great. Like, we propped it up like this is the greatest collection of talent in the history of the NFL. I kind of turned into Jaworski there for a second. Fly, Eagles, fly. I've watched 172 hours, and I truly believe that Jimmy Garoppolo could be the most mediocre quarterback. I butchered it. Damn, I butchered it. Mediocre quarterback ever. I was going to go for a joke there, but you get my drift. Butchered that. Shout out to Butcher Shop. R.I.P. Those are fun times. You can't go the schedule game. We're in the playoffs. What have you done for me lately? And the Eagles just kicked the crap out of the New York Giants. That's what I saw. And the Niners just had a very dominant defensive effort and did just enough on offense to get the job done against a pretty good Cowboys team. That's what they've done lately. So I could only go off that. I'm not going to play regular season schedule. The Niners played these people. The Eagles played there. Now, I think if you're a fan and you lose this game and you head in on Monday, it's like, well, maybe they were more like that it was more like that Chiefs game. Or it's just, the Cowboys weren't that. I was like, no, the Niners belong here. They are a top 4 team in the league. It's not by accident that they got here. I refuse to say that it's not by accident that the Eagles got here. It's not by accident that the Kansas City Chiefs got here with Mahomes on one leg. And it's not by accident that the Cincinnati Bengals got here. These are the 4 best teams. Do you agree? Do you not agree? 888-957-9570. 888-957-9570. Tony C in San Jose. You got Tony Hawk, Tony Gonzalez, Tony Gwynn. That's pretty good. I like that. You're right. Michael Phelps should have been on your Michael Moore. But I like the Tony one. Trying to think of a 4th Tony for you, Tony. Tony Hawk, Tony Gonzalez, Tony Gwynn. Famous athletes named Tony Romo. There you go. Perfect. How could I not think of Tony Romo? Here we go, Jim. Oh, Jim, I don't think they're going to do it. He's getting kind of roasted on Twitter this past week, by the way, too. People are not happy that Tony Romo was commentating. But that's neither here nor there. We'll have Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olson on the call again for Fox, and they'll be calling the Super Bowl if the 49ers make it that far. So 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570, Xfinity Mobile text line, YouTube chat. Are the 49ers the 4th best team right now to the top 4 remaining in the NFL playoffs? Is it Chiefs, Bengals, Eagles, Niners? Or do you have the Niners at number 1? Let me know at 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. Xfinity Mobile text line. Hit me up there. We're going to take another break. Come on back. Joe Shasky for the Cross-Jover coming up next on 95.7 The Game. And by the way, the road to Glendale, which is what the road the 49ers on right now, the road to Glendale is brought to you by Ameriwest Credit Union, working for you today, tomorrow, together. Pre-game show, Joe Spadoni. Joe Shasky joining me next on 95.7 The Game.
Bang, bang, Niner game! We're fired up after the Niners' huge win against Dallas.
sad Cowboy fans are my favorite thing in the world.
Wow, just an incredible ball game, 19-12, and the Disney movie would be called Relevant.
It was hard, Steiny, but they earned it, and they got a badass defense. Purdy did not turn it over. He outplayed Dak in every facet.
This is the Bay Area's sports station, 95.7 The Game.
So, the other day, I bought an extremely chatty...
Boring story time.
Make that an extremely catty cockatoo.
You're welcome.
Apparently, the pet store won't take it back. But, hey, I'll manage.
I love that for you.
Just like I manage without home internet.
No, you don't.
Sure, my mobile hotspot is slow and makes streaming shows unbearable.
Oh, Bertie likes to stream.
But I'm making do. Oh no, who's this?
My lady friend. It's mating season, duh.
No home internet? It's not that bad.
No, not there.
It is that bad. Don't settle. Get Xfinity Home Internet for just $19.99 a month for 1 year with a free streaming box. Call, click, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Offer ends 2/21/23.
There's a reason Golden State has become the trusted partner for professional builders and contractors. The breadth of what they offer is remarkable. Their product knowledge can save you time. They're the largest distributor in NorCal of many of the brands they carry. Golden State's newly refreshed app offers installation guides, building codes, and much more. And the GSTV link on their homepage is a useful resource. Family owned for 3 generations. Golden State. When you succeed, we succeed.
Do you have neuropathy? Are you experiencing numbness, tingling, and pain that just won't stop? Are you taking dangerous drugs that have serious side effects and never fix the pain? If so, please listen to this message. Neuropathy is a serious, progressive condition that only gets worse if not treated properly. Call SF Bay Wellness at 844-94-NERVE to get back to doing the things you want to do. There is no drug, exercise, or surgery that can heal nerves. Don't wait until your condition gets worse and stops you from living your life fully. SF Bay Wellness has a time-tested, proven track record of helping hundreds of patients to improve and reverse their neuropathy. If you're ready to regain your independence, contact SF Bay Wellness at 844-94-NERVE. Call now for your $99 neuropathy special and receive a personal treatment plan that is tailored to your needs. Call 844-94-NERVE. That's 844-94-NERVE and start to enjoy life again.
Bud Light was brewed to be a delicious and easy-to-drink beer, even when the little things in life are hard. Like when the game is going into overtime, but you have even more time to enjoy it, and a fresh Bud Light. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local retailer today. Drink responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk to facts about Orgovix.
Orgovix Relagolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovix can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovix treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovix may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovix. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni. Ooh, a little RHCP. Red Hot Chili Peppers for those of you in the know. Danny, California. Got one more segment for you before tossing over to Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky, the Morning Roast. They will be joined by Brian Baldinger. And as you all know, all guests appear on the Bud Light guest line. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. So Baldy at 7:30 on the Morning Roast. Cannot wait for that. His breakdowns, his preview of this matchup. Eagles, Niners. Baldy's a Pennsylvania guy. He's a Philly guy. So this is going to be a very fun matchup, I'm sure, for him and to break down all week long. And we're going to be breaking it down all week long right here on 95.7 The Game, as the road to Glendale is brought to you by Ameriwest Credit Union, working for you today, tomorrow, together. And man, a lot of scared energy I'm getting from the text line and from the YouTube chat regarding this game. I know there's a lot of cockiness. Bonte Hill, we were just talking off air in the show prep room, and he's just like, Eagles fans doing a lot of chirping from the Eagles. They're confident. And Niners fans, you should be confident too. You're playing with house money. All the pressure is going to be on this Philadelphia Eagles squad. They were the best team all year. They have the guy who was an MVP candidate all year up until he got hurt in Jalen Hurts. They're the guy with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, the Heisman. They have the two guys that won a Super Bowl, right? The two remnants and the relics of that 2016 Super Bowl win, Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. You're at home. It's going to be, you have the environment. You're going up against a third string, whatever you want to call him, rookie quarterback now, Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. The 49ers are playing with house money, so I don't understand the scared energy as Joe Shasky joins me in his number 3 Joe Shasky 49ers jersey. Too many scared Niners fans, Joe. Too many of them.
Well, a healthy respect for the Philadelphia Eagles is appropriate. They are the cream of the crop of the NFL this year. If you're just going off what we've seen this year, right? When they're at full strength, they're the best team, top to bottom. And I think that the quarterback play, absolutely, whether it was going to be Brock or Jimmy or whomever for the 49ers, the quarterback is, I think, the difference maker. Their personnel is elite. This is the only team that I think in the trenches can go toe for toe outside of Dallas with the 49ers. And then, you know, Dallas, you could tell they really only had 2 playmakers on offense. CD, like I'm talking about skill position.
Yes.
CD and Goddard, and that was about it. As much as we all like Schultz in fantasy, but he's not on the level of Kittle.
Yeah.
Right?
No, he's not. Yeah.
So I look at Philadelphia and I say, their 2 receivers are probably better than the Niners' 2 receivers, and that's saying a lot. And I don't say that lightly. Like, A.J. Brown is that good. I think as an individual player, he's that good. And then I would say the kid 26 coming out of the backfield, he's not as good as CMC. He's pretty damn good.
Miles Sanders legit.
He's pretty good.
He's pretty good. And then you had Devontae Smith, the Heisman winner. And then you had Dallas Goedert, you mentioned.
Came on hard this year,
Yes,
Devontae.
he did. I thought he was going to... I had a high stock on Devontae Smith in fantasy because I thought A.J. Brown was going to get a lot of attention and Devontae Smith would be open. Well, A.J. Brown's just such a beast. He just gets people off him. And we saw him against in Tennessee last year.
Yes.
On that game, what was it, Christmas Eve or a couple days before Christmas. He just dominated that second half.
Well, and then I give them the respect of Kelsey, Fletcher Cox, Lane Johnson, etc., Brandon Graham. Those are champions.
Yes.
They did win. Now, I know a lot of the team is new and stuff, but like those are some centerpiece guys on the offensive and defensive line that know how to win in these big games. So I think it's fair respect, not being scared.
Okay, that's fine. There is verbatim some people saying I'm scared of this Eagles team. I was like, but you have nothing to scare for the 49ers. These are the 4 best teams.
I
said
would
it yesterday.
agree.
These are the 4 best teams in the NFL.
I would agree.
I think sometimes it doesn't always happen this way. It happened correct this year, where the 4 best teams are meeting each other.
We didn't talk about this, but I want to bring it up right now. Remember, I took Burrow number 2 overall in our quarterback fantasy draft, and he's playing a 3rd week.
Oh.
Let's just remember that.
Yeah, well, you know, Patrick Mahomes, my guy.
Did I not call that?
Yeah, in hindsight, I shouldn't have taken a guy number 1 overall that I thought was only going to play I should have taken a guy like Burrow because I knew he was going to play on, or I should have taken someone. But Mahomes, no one could foresee him breaking his leg.
No,
getting a high ankle. He didn't break his leg, high ankle sprain. But you get what I'm saying.
Well, okay, we haven't even talked about that because we were so stuck on the Niners. I actually thought at one point in the game, no, look, I'm an idiot, so I'm going to freely admit that. I thought at one point in the game, I go, oh my goodness, do you have to go with Chad Henne in this? Like, are they that limited to where now he's hurting them and then he makes just enough plays? I mean, the guy's a spectacular player.
And then
he's an all-time.
I hate the Chiefs so much.
I do too.
They have Chad Henne on the 2-yard line and he drives 98 yards.
Longest drive in Chiefs playoff history.
Oh my. And that's a great Jeopardy question.
Are you kidding me?
Are
you kidding me?
The thing with the Chiefs is, and me and Bonte were talking about this, I was like, I don't see this Eagles-Niners game being a blowout in either direction. I just don't see that happening. The only thing I could see being a blowout.
Okay.
And again, that's if Brock Purdy turns into a rookie, the pumpkin falls at whatever, that could happen.
But that could happen to any quarterback.
Yes, and I don't see that happening with Brock. I just don't, from what I've seen.
Yes.
Could it? Sure. I just don't see it happening. With the Bengals, if Mahomes doesn't look right and they sell out to stop that running game, because that Chiefs running game looked great last week against Jacksonville.
Pacheco
for the 7th round. I know. I hate him. If they sell, I could see the Bengals blowing out the Chiefs. Is that
blowing out?
Is that crazy to say?
Oh, man.
The way that the Bengals handled the Bills in Buffalo last week, and maybe I'm too high on the Bengals.
I mean,
but
the Bengals kicked their butt.
There's a chance that Mahomes doesn't practice all week, and I know he's a Hall of Fame player already in his young career.
Yeah, but a high ankle sprain 6 days after it happened, it's not going to get better.
It's a pain tolerance thing. We've had Dr. Pondia on chat cleared to play. Like, he knows his stuff. He says it's a pain thing. But if he can't step into throws, he can't extend plays, that could work against the Jacksonville Jaguars because they're a young and up-and-coming team. Mm-hmm. This is the Bengals, who are the reigning AFC Championship Cincinnati Bengals. Like, just be careful, Kansas City. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and Zach Taylor, you got to give him a lot of credit. Yes. They've built a really nice team.
Hendrickson on the other side.
You know, as much as we like to, give someone like Steph Curry, he doesn't shape the roster on his team. He's quiet. Burrow pounded the table for Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell, and I think Penei's going to be
he's sweet.
He's going to be an amazing player. Jamar Chase has changed the fabric of who they are as an offensive identity. They're almost impossible to guard on the outside.
It's gross. Him, T. Higgins, hell, Hayden Hurst as your tight end.
Newsflash: big, strong, fast receivers from great colleges tend to work out.
Roll Tide? Is that what you're saying? LSU? SEC?
I cannot get over my head that they had Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase at the same school at the same time as Joe Burrow.
And they are going up against an Alabama team with Jalen Waddle, Henry Ruggs,
it's insane.
Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith. Like, dude, the talent pool in the NFL is insane right now. You're going to look back into all these wide receiver numbers. It's going to look astronomical. I don't know how they let all these guys into the Hall of Fame, because that's what it's just going to be looking like. But we are in a golden age of wide receiver, and it's actually pretty fun to watch. Real quick, Shasky. The one matchup, and we were just talking about it, like maybe the pumpkin, or maybe the carrot is back to a pumpkin, whatever, this week with Brock Purdy. The only time I could see that happening, shout out Sam Lubman, is if that defensive, that interior pressure that you were talking about yesterday of the Eagles starts to dominate. Like, that was a thing last week, and I thought the offensive line as a whole, towards the end of it, they finally held their own.
Well, Dallas was on the field a lot.
They were. That was the thing.
And they got tired.
Yes, they got very tired. And then you slowly started to see that run game come to fruition, because that's just all legs at that point.
I still can't believe they had 120 yards rushing.
I know.
I watching the game, it felt like they had 44 yards rushing.
Yeah. So that's the matchup for me, is this 49ers offensive line. Can they replicate what they did last week? And maybe it replicates not the greatest thing too, because Brock Purdy was running for his life a lot last week.
Yeah.
And running to his left. And Dan Quinn, I'll give him credit. I don't even know who the Phillies DC guy's name is. I probably should look that up.
Yeah,
but Dan Quinn, he's by the way, second interview, I believe, with the Arizona Cardinals this week. So that'd be interesting.
It looks like Jonathan Gannon.
Rich Gannon's son? No.
40 years old, Cleveland, Ohio, St. Ignatius High School of Cleveland.
There you go.
And I'm making sure that he's not the son or
he's not. No, I don't think so. What is he going to do to Brock Purdy this week that Brock hasn't seen yet? Anything?
I mean, to me, I think the same game plan that Dallas employed in terms of setting the edge and not allowing him to scramble out is very important. And I don't know if Dallas's speed on the edges, like DeMarcus Lawrence had an unbelievable game.
Yes.
I look back, watching that back, he was everywhere. Parsons was everywhere.
He had these plays where he was just running down these guys and just tripping them up at the line. I was like, the Niners all season have been able just to get away from these guys. But that speed,
And then they had 42, I don't know his name, and then they had Van Der Esch in the box. Like, they did a great job on gap containment. I don't want to get too Greg Papa-ish on you this early in the morning, but like, it's the truth. They nailed all their gaps, and they were blowing up Juszczyk. I thought Juszczyk had a rough game.
Yes.
For Juszczyk standards is what I mean. It's tough. It's playoff football.
Well, he was sitting on the sideline. He was teaching the young guy. Do you see that while you were watching the game? And they went on the broadcast. Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olsen. He's like, "Look at Kyle Juszczyk. That's Stanford and that's Harvard right there." And they're talking to Brock. They're looking at the iPad. They're doing their things. I was like, oh, please, can we just go back to football? I don't need to watch this. And a love fest for Stanford and freaking Harvard. We get it. They're smart.
Did Stanford hire a new coach?
Yeah, they hired the guy from Sac State. The head coach. I forget his name.
Up?
Stingers up. There you go.
Okay.
What is that? Do they do that little pinky thing? Stingers up.
If a tree falls in the woods and no one's there, does it really actually fall?
No. Well, they wanted to get Greg Roman. Remember, that was interesting, and now Greg Roman's on the market. Maybe Greg should have taken that job. Brian Baldinger coming up at 7:30. Shasky, what are you going to ask him?
Oh man, there's so much. Is Baldy going to the game? Number one, can he provide protection for me through the parking lot, because he would make a great wingman? Number two, I just want to get into the like, what did the Dallas Cowboys, did they just win individual matchups on defense? What was it that they took away? Because it felt like the offense was the most constipated it's been in 3 months. Now, is that a byproduct of the Cowboys scheme, personnel? Is that a byproduct of just playoff football where it's just tougher matchups? I would like to see that.
Okay, Troy Taylor was the guy. So that's Joe Shasky. He's going to come up next with Bonte Hill. They have Brian Baldinger, 7:30. Troy Taylor. It's a great name. I guess. Not really. You're looking at me like, can you wrap this up, Joe?
I'm just completely lost.
I'm completely lost.
I'm having a rough morning.
I'm having a very rough morning.
Coyotes rattled me this morning.
Oh, what? Coyotes?
The dog and the Coyotes were going at it this morning. They were right behind the fence on the opposite side. I've been long a believer that there's a coyote den right behind us, and Leo, who's an older dog, was just barking like crazy.
What kind of dog?
French bulldog.
Oh, okay, yeah, they're not going to hang with the Coyotes. No, if you have like a Husky or German Shepherd, maybe they're not going to hang with them. That's scary.
It was, and I was barefoot, and it was so cold on that deck. And your boy almost got frostbite in San Francisco.
That's a tease. He's going to have more Coyote stories next. That's Joe Shasky coming next. Bonte Hill, Morning Roast, 95.7 The Game.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco, an Odyssey station.
Did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about this, Joe?
The 49ers are back in the